In the latest developments in Manipur, the state government has formed a committee to probe allegation of excessive use of force on the protesters. This committee will be led by IGP, Inspector General of Police Administration K. Jayant, and will have the authority to take action against any personnel found guilty of using excessive force. Remember, there were several videos which were doing the rounds on social media which showed security forces using force to dispel gathering. Now, since we did not vouch for the authenticity of those videos, we did not play it out here in News9 Live, but this is what has led to this formation of this committee. Meanwhile, a three-member committee appointed by the Supreme Court has issued directives to the Manipur government to identify and protect all religious buildings in the state. The committee's aim is to protect these religious structures from damage, destruction and encroachment, especially in the context of ongoing ethnic clashes in Manipur since May 3rd. The committee emphasized the importance of safeguarding the properties of displaced persons and preventing encroachment on properties that have been damaged. This comes after violent protests emerged in Imphal Valley after the photos of two missing youths, missing since July, circulated on the social media. You can see the visuals which are there on our screen, which is being played. These are yesterday's visuals where people had gathered to to protest against what they call the kind of lack of action, and they're demanding that all the perpetrators behind the killing of two individuals should be put behind bar and strict action should be taken against them. You can see these visuals. They are a clear, they're reflecting the kind of anger that is on the ground. The situation has led to a security clampdown and imposition of curfew in the area. Now, for this discussion on these three aspects, I'm joined by Thangminlal Dougel, who's a research scholar, National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, Dr. M. Ramananda Singh, Associate Professor, Kerodimal College, University of Delhi, and Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, defense expert. Gentlemen, welcome all of you to News9 Live. First, I'll go to Dr. M. Ramananda Singh. Dr. Singh, you saw the letter, the committee which has been formed by the state government, a three-member committee led by Inspector General of Police, formulated to take strict action and also probe what is being alleged as excessive use of force. Can you elaborate on this? What exactly is this excessive use of force which is being talked about, and how grim the situation is?
Yeah, Brijesh, see, when you talk about the use of excessive powers by the armed force, it's not new to Manipur, during this almost a 5 month. You have been hearing from the beginning that there's some, particular specific force, or maybe Assam Rifle, or maybe police, or maybe paramilitary, or maybe rapid action force has been using time to time in a very specific area where they are using, killing of the people, shooting people in the, in the gathering without any arm and instigations. Now, the recent the issue is that the two youth, which is, including 17 years old girls, was missing from, 17 July, from July month. And recently, the photographs was emerged where their dead bodies are lying somewhere in the not a specific area, but it was suspected to be in the hill regions. Because of that, students of the student communities are coming out for, demanding for a justice. And in that protest, where the students are totally unarmed, they are doing and demanding for the justice, and they demand for immediate actions against those who involved in, kidnapping and murdering of that, youth. So therefore, the many students organizations in Imphal regions were protesting. But now, recently, the development is so much so that they have taken actions on a student, even shooting on the arm. of a one student. You will see the footage you may have seen in the social media. It was horrified. It was totally horrified. It was, so many students, more than 30 students was got injuries in some particular the protest. And these kind of action on the student, where the students are expected to be regarded and to be built for the future of the whole country. Now the dealings of the students should not be in this way. You can see the even the National Commission for the human right, Manipur, they have made a statement also. While dealing with the student, you may use different means. Even they can use water cannon to disperse the students. But why they are using, so much force? They are directly shooting on the student. They are using tear gas and
Okay.
without an ambulance. And
Okay.
students are so much, injury. You will find and you will see a lot of reports in the newspapers and the social media. So
Okay.
these kind of action is highly condemnable. They do not have sensible mind to deal with the ongoing crisis. The whole force operating in Manipur is, I would say I am very, regarding the force, but using of such kind of forces against a student is highly. As a teachers, I totally condemn on such kind of act.
Okay, okay. I'm also joined by Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni. Sir, what does this augur for the force? The force is already, battling a kind of perception war which is going on in the state of Manipur, where Meiteis have openly said that there are certain divisions in Assam Rifles they do not trust. The same is being said by the army, though, we want to make it very clear. The head News9 Live, we hold our forces above any such aspersions. But then there is the thing which is happening on the ground. And then comes this report that, that there is excessive use of force to quell the protest. And, several videos are also doing the round. There are talks about pellet guns being fired. Do you think that the image of the army is going to take a hit? Or how do you see this 3-member committee probing it?
Brijesh, thank you very much. At the very outset, violence has to be condemned first and foremost, and it's been on since a long, long time. Now, it's been there since May, as everybody is aware of it. Now, let's start to begin with. There's so much of distrust between the forces and the two communities, and between the two communities, that it is very difficult now unless they are on the same page. Let's take the case of this existing thing that is happening. Now, the Manipur police takes care of the plains, that is the Imphal East, Imphal West. And the Assam Rifle has been told to guard the hills. Now, hills, which have 90% hills being protected, have 10% population. And 70% population is a 10% area, which is invariably. So all that what you are showing is part of which are plains. And that is where the problem is occurring again and again because of excessive protests that are going on for this thing between the two communities. So, and if there is distrust, this is what is going to happen. First and foremost, let's be very, very honest about it. Trust and let the security forces treat everybody as a Manipuri. There is no Kuki, there is no Meiti, there is no Naga, there is no Kom. Everybody is one, and yet now wanting to first bring peace in that entire area. There has been a total mistrust amongst them and what is going on. Now, let's take the fact that how do we go about it? That is the most important thing. How do we go about it? See, until and unless we have a level playing field. Now, the level playing field, when I say this, both the communities have to understand. The Meiteis, which are in larger number, 53% of the population comprises of the Meiteis, who are reasonably prosperous also, and also have economic control and political control, but are only confined to the 10% of the area. Now you have the Kukis, who are, say, about 16-17% of the population, confined to a larger hill section, which of course is shared between the Nagas and they themselves. Now, at this point of time, a thing like having converted into a tribe and then their occupation of the hills will be there. It sounds a little bit, now, wherever it may be, whatever it may be, everybody is an OBC there, but OBC doesn't give them, the fight is for the land. And that is where the whole thing starts off with. The cookies wouldn't want them to come and take the land in the
But do you think,
so the hill
I
people
get
can
that,
take the
I get
land.
that, I get the historical perspective, sir. But the thing is that, do you see this three-member committee, the committee which has been formed, do you see them hindering the way armed forces is going to work? Because, once you appoint a committee to probe into such situation, do you see them going a bit slow on this?
See, until and unless the population themselves, if they come in such huge numbers, what happened on the 3rd of May? You had the integrated tribal leaders whole forum over there, and you see what happened subsequently to that. So you have to really control. Everybody has to be controlled, and one has to be firm. You just cannot have protests and not like. See, once you have decided now to protest, then it's very difficult. One has to come with a firm hand. That is the first thing, because everybody, if there is a curfew imposed, everybody must be in their respective homes. Now, if you are not at your respective home, then it's very difficult. Now, the fact still remains there are 4,000 weapons, presuming. Let's presume that one community has taken all the weapons, but the other community has also equal number of weapons floating around. They are also automatic. So there's a sizable amount. Now, why this, Brijesh, just give me a minute. Why this is happening around is primarily because in Myanmar for the last 28 months, there has been a total, I would say, crackdown on the population over there, resulting in almost 60,000 people from Myanmar migrating into the areas of Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland from there. Now, they have a same ethnic, communities which exist on both sides. So that's where the whole thing. Then there's narco. There's so much of trade which is going on in Golden Triangle trade of drugs which is going on. There are no Metis, there are no Cookies, there are no Pangals, and there are no Nagas. Everybody is only dealing in drugs from where the money is coming. Now, how much of the drug money is coming? You'll be surprised. If the budget of Manipur government is about 35,000 crores, the drug money is 70,000 crores. That's the kind of thing.
Yes,
So
absolutely. Before I go to Mr. Dongle, I would like to play these visuals which are there. I mean, it looks like that the night of Manipur is like, punctuated by the sound of explosion of, tear gas shells and then the smoke which is coming out of it. And this is, in a way, you can see a person running away from there. Then there are, silent protests which is happening to demand action against the perpetrators of crime, against the killing of 2 youths. I mean, these visuals are the telling story of the fragile peace, which we are talking about. You can see what is lying on the road, a semi-deserted road, which shows the kind of brunt it has taken some time back. These explosions are telling a story which is, the reality of Manipur as we speak. Unfortunate, very unfortunate, but the reality. Thangminlal Dougel, I just want to ask you one thing. Do you see this particular registration or forming of a committee led by an IGP acting as a spanner in the way security forces are working?
Yeah, Brijesh, good evening.
Good evening.
I think I'd like to begin by saying that to a certain extent, the forming of a 3-member committee to probe into the alleged involvement of or the excessive use of force by the men in uniform